Hey, what's up? Well, back with another video, and it is just so freaking awesome to have a full moon or now waning gibbous, and you know, just to be in a place where I just feel closer to nature. Um, when I see that full moon setting in the west as the rooster is crowing, it's just amazing. And so, I just wanted to make a video. As much as I hate living in this place sometimes, because it is an older house, every time I hear the train, it's like those four blasts just tell me that we did the right thing to move here. So anyway, enough about the house and the train and the moon and all that other stuff. What I'd like to talk about in this video is how I want to title it The Burden of Proof. I was going to title my Memorial Day video The Burden of Proof, but I just never really got around to actually talking enough about that for it to have that title. And so I just want to say that, I feel like I've said it every which way possible, but I'll always feel that there's another way I could have said it to further prove my point, which doesn't really need to be proven anymore. I feel like I've already said way too much about it. And I can't believe I've had this little necklace for so long. What is it, 1 year or 2 years or something? I don't know, but I love it. Anyway, so, we're back into the time of year when nautical things appeal to me. And so, what I'd like to talk about in this video, the burden of proof, is, just once again, what I've stated is how, those people that refuse to believe what I've stated a million times, if I've said it once, they just never have anything to prove, to back up their claims. You know what I'm saying? You can learn a lot more about a person by what they refuse to accept or refuse to believe. You can find out a lot about a person, or maybe even more, than by what they do believe. You know what I'm saying? You can learn just as much, if not more, about a person, based on what they don't believe or won't accept or refuse to believe and why. Okay. Um, so it just really makes me mad because it's like, people will not accept what I've said, about Angelica and all that. Um, but then they have no evidence, no proof otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, I just love living, I just love listening to Pastor Anderson. I have for years, I want to say since 2008. And what are we like, 15 years later or something? Yeah. I can so much more tolerate him than these stupid idiots. He's like the polar opposite of the Deeker guy, and that's what I really hate about leftist men is how it's like they want to say they're progressive, and they want to like change gender norms and not have to be so old fashioned like the men of the past about gender norms and gender roles, when in reality, they have their own ideas of what a man is or what a woman is, only they have a different way of, they have different ideas, but they still have rigid ideas. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. People like the Deeker guy, it's like they want girls to wear blue jeans, which clearly are not feminine. They're blue in their pants. They want girls to wear blue jeans, but should a girl ever decide to put on a diaper or even take a crap in her panties, which I would never do, um, oh God, that would just be horrible. Oh, she needs to go to a psychiatrist. When the reality of the situation is, no one should ever discuss their bowel functions with any shrink, unless you truly have a medical problem. Which, I mean, most people that do that really don't. I would say it's 99% of the time psychological in some way. When someone craps in their pants and they're past the age of toilet training, I mean, it's psychological. Poop just doesn't fall out of your butt as a teenager or an adult, whether you're male or female. And so I've never done it. I mean, I don't even fart in my clothes. those muscles basically wouldn't relax unless I were sitting on the toilet. Um, but, and so when someone is not to that level of potty training, well, they're not potty trained in my mind. If they still fart in their clothes, they're not completely toilet trained. Okay. And so, I mean, nobody should ever discuss their bowel functions with a shrink. Really, no woman ever would. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you brought, let's say you had a teenage girl like my sister that still pooped in her panties for whatever reason, and you brought her to a shrink, especially a man doctor, you know, if she's anywhere near normal at all, she'll just shut down, and not talk to him about that because it's none of a man's business. You know what I'm saying? What goes on in the bathroom is none of a man's business. And I like Pastor Anderson a whole lot more than idiots like the Deeker guy, because that's kind of their mentality that, it's a shame to even speak of what goes on in the bedroom or the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? It's private. No one has the right to police what kind of underwear everyone should be wearing, how they should go to the bathroom, where, when. You know what I'm saying? And in my case, I don't even fart in my clothes whatsoever. Um, so, but as I've stated before, I mean, leftist men, they have very strict ideas about what a woman is, what a man is. And while they may want girls to violate certain gender norms, like the ones in the Bible, put on men's pants, wear blue jeans that were clearly invented for men, okay? They don't want women to do other things, that they want to be masculine, the things that they want to define them as a person in the most disgusting way, which death is too good for someone who puts on a diaper as an adult and deliberately poops in it. Death is too good for them. So yeah, it's like um, they're Satan. They're of the devil. People that do that are evil. And the word vile affections in the Bible, I think, talks about that too. It not only means homosexuality, but it means anything that's vile and disgusting. That's what I believe. That more than just homosexuality could go under vile affections. And, God has given them over to something that will destroy them. Women have more natural consequences, but men also have natural consequences from doing that. They will eventually get pilonidal cysts and other health problems as a result of that. So I believe that they are vile and disgusting and worthy of death. And I would want nothing to do with someone who thinks that that is okay. To poop in a diaper, to wear a diaper when you don't need one. No, they're not human. They have no place in my life. Okay, and neither does a show that glorifies diapers. So yeah, I mean, everyone has their ideas about what a man or a woman is. It's just that, the satanic religions that are transgenderism and ABDL fetishism, they seek to reverse the roles. You know what I'm saying? They don't want men to be in power, in charge, or dominant. They don't want men to wear the pants. They want women to either be the caregivers, in the case of the ABDL, or in transgenderism, they want us to pretend that we're men so that they can pretend that they're women. You know what I'm saying? It's like a reversal of the Bible. And I just want to talk about, how one of the devil's tricks, and I'm not falling for it, because I'm almost 40 years old and I know when someone's trying to trick me. One of the devil's tricks is, well, red herrings and gaslighting, to get you arguing about the wrong thing. Like they don't want to accept that Jesus wore pants, for example. And so they'll try to say, oh, well, he wore a toga, or he wore a robe. So he couldn't possibly have worn pants if he wore a robe. Well, I mean, how many people would leave the house wearing just a robe? Only an exhibitionist, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that he wore, a top covering does not negate him having worn pants. You know what I'm saying? They'll say, oh, well, pants weren't invented in the days of the Bible. Everybody was just wearing dresses and togas. Well, no. The word pants may not have been invented. So anyway, Pastor Anderson is one of the most soothing voices I love to listen to when I need to get to sleep. I could just listen to him every single day, not just Sunday. It beats having to get up and go to church. Okay. So anyway, I just want to talk about, the burden of proof and the devil's tricks. So the devil, likes to get you arguing about something that has nothing to do with the subject. Try to throw you off. Like this, it was Tommy. Oh, it was Tommy, so it couldn't have possibly been Angelica. You know what I'm saying? But that's not proof. That is not any evidence against what I'm saying. As I've stated a million times, if I've said it once, that would not negate her having done it. So, unless and until they can show me the proof, which of course will never happen. I mean, when did she ever show what she did in the toilet in the whole series? Did she ever go to the toilet and say, look what I did? No, she didn't. So unless and until you can prove that she did it in the toilet, or on the ground in the case of that movie, and that she would never do it in her pants, well, I'm not going to believe that. And, as I've stated before, you can learn more about a person by what they refuse to believe or accept, because I couldn't care less if Tommy did it or if all the others did it. That wouldn't matter, okay? That wouldn't negate the fact that she did. But these people that cannot accept that she did it, it's like that would destroy their image of her. They want boys to be the ones to do that. You know what I'm saying? They want to destroy the male image, the white male image. It's always white males. Every single drawing on the Deeker website of a boy in a diaper is a white male, never a black boy, never a Hispanic boy, never an Asian boy, always a white boy with brown or blonde hair, not even a redhead anywhere. So, I've gone on way too long about that, but the burden of proof is on them. They'll never convince me. Once you see something as nasty, you don't go back to seeing it as innocent. Once you decide that something is nasty or dirty or unacceptable, you don't go back and decide, well, that show is actually innocent. And the other thing is, the idea that because Ren and Stimpy was worse, or there were other cartoons that were worse, well, that also doesn't justify it. You know what I'm saying? The fact that something exists that is worse does not mean that what I'm talking about isn't bad. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter to me. I didn't watch Ren and Stimpy. I have no interest in Ren and Stimpy. So the fact that they were worse, or other shows exist that are worse, well, that doesn't matter. I'm talking about Rugrats, and I want absolutely nothing to do with it. I would never recommend it. I want nothing to do with people who like it. So yeah, I mean, I've gone on way too long about that, but the burden of proof is on them. And as I've stated before, I mean, you can learn a lot about me, by what I refuse to believe or accept. And I refuse to believe, A, that she was even toilet trained to begin with, by my definition, not, what the world sees as toilet trained. Because, if a child wears underwear and, because like my little sister, when she was like 5 years old, people would have looked at her and thought she was toilet trained. She went to school wearing panties, and she always conveniently had these accidents after school and at night in bed. So people would look at her and say, well, she's in panties, so obviously she's toilet trained. Well, no. My definition of toilet trained is that you have no reluctance or aversion to using a toilet. You know what I'm saying? I don't even let public bathrooms stop me from going if I have to. You know what I'm saying? I will use any bathroom in the world. I have such a strong will not to do it on myself that it's like any bathroom is acceptable as long as it says women or unisex. Will not use the men's. But, so, I mean, toilet train is when, like, doing it on yourself is pretty much like breathing underwater. You couldn't force yourself to do it. And that's how I am. Those muscles will not relax unless and until I'm sitting on the toilet. So pretty much the only way I even could, I'd have to sit on the toilet fully clothed, which I've never done. And that's why it's so disgusting when they animate shows like that. So yeah, I mean, Rugrats is disgusting. And what I refuse to believe, as I've stated before, it's not that I have a problem believing that the other kids did it or that Tommy did it. I have a problem with people saying Angelica didn't. Okay, because there's no proof of that. They cannot prove it. All they have is their emotional diatribes about, they don't want to accept that she did it because she's a girl and she's older, and they fantasize about her being their mother figure, their caregiver. They want girls to be in the dominant role, and her doing that, I guess, F's that up. So anyway, this video is way too long, and I just want to title it The Burden of Proof. I'd love to talk about other things going forward, and I have no interest in that show, none whatsoever. You could not force me to watch that show. I mean, even just something as simple as Josh is weight loss. It's an insult to my intelligence. That Josh is no longer a fat kid, but just another ordinary white boy. It's an insult to my intelligence, because I know how the original was and I know that that's not it. So yeah, I mean, I don't care, what other character did it. It doesn't matter. That doesn't negate her having done it. And it doesn't mean that she's toilet trained. So yeah, I'll go ahead and post this video.